welcome to episode 613 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm Kyle Brackey. Hopefully be my final day hosting while Christian is
Final day,
traveling
you're
back.
leaving the show? Is that the big
No,
announcement,
I
Kyle?
meant like doing the intro and all the shenanigans and
Gotcha.
all that stuff. Um, it's been a fun week, but it will be much better when we're all back in studio and have our normal setup. It'll be a better experience for you, the listener. To give you an update of what's going on, CP made it to Baton Rouge. So he's
Oh,
now, I
nice.
don't know, probably like 6 hours away from Austin, maybe. So him and JD and his family should make it back today. While I have had power this entire time, I now have no running water. We lost that yesterday in the afternoon, and
Brutal.
apparently it's just like the whole city has no water, and this has been really badly managed on all ends of the spectrum. So it's a lot of fun going on down here. Ben, what's going on in Wisconsin?
Well, I did open up Twitter. I'm gonna check your weather temperature, but I opened up Twitter and it does say power outage and boil water advisories continue across Texas. That's pretty freaking wild. But guess what? It's gonna be 43 and sunny tomorrow. So you guys are you're almost in the clear. One more day of this brutal winter weather for you, and then you're good to go.
I'm not even worried about the weather's whatever. It's the fact that there's no
Lots of damn
power and
water.
water, and we have no idea when we're gonna get it back. Like it seems like they're making no progress on everyone that has no power. So it could be a
Jeez.
long weekend, but
Disaster.
here we are.
Yeah, what do you do?
Um,
I guess you go buy gallons of water at the store or something?
yeah, luckily we had a good bit of water, and we noticed yesterday that the water pressure was super low, so we thought they might be just like I don't know, rationing people.
Yeah.
Um, so we filled up a few things of water, like
Nice,
big jugs and stuff like that, and we had a bunch of bottles of water. So yeah,
nice. So you could
just
also
try to.
start, feeding the baby some Monster. See how that
That's
goes.
right. That's right. We are all good on food, so we should be fine. But if it comes to it, he's getting Monster.
There we
Um,
go.
where do you want to start today, Ben? I know you're probably not going to be too
Well, you
happy
sent
about.
me I was taking my daughter down to the bus stop. I got the dock, and I wanted to punch someone in the freaking face. The NCAA could not be a more incompetent organization who does not really give a damn about athletes. They've now had a dead period for right around 16 months. Kyle,
Hmm.
16 months. That means that all of high school seniors' recruiting time was a dead period. They could not see coaches. They could not have coaches come to them. This is so idiotic. It is beyond me. Um, and it's made me think back to my own recruiting process. And you don't really know what you're going to get. I didn't know what I was going to get when I went to Missouri. I went there and I'm like, damn, I love it. I love the guys. I love the coaches.
Hmm.
And I went to a few other places and I just said, man, this is too small for me. I don't really want to be here. I went to Arizona State and I said, I think this team likes to party a little too much for me. I don't really like to party. And without those things, who knows where I would have went? And so it's like you're essentially the NCAA. You're stealing this from college athletes, or sorry, high school athletes, and it just the fact that they think they can keep it going like indefinitely is absurd.
Well, I do think there is light in the tunnel based on what they said in this in their most recent release. So they said there's a strong commitment to use the next several weeks to outline the transition plan back to recruiting activities post June 1 and to provide these plans to prospective student athletes, their families, and the NCAA membership no later than April 15th. So it sounds like they are going to have a plan put in place by April 15th and out there to people. Um, so you will see what it looks like for June 1 when things open back up, and hopefully these kids can start taking their visits. And I don't know the dead periods in wrestling, because there are natural dead, like there were natural dead periods
Yeah.
throughout the year.
Mhm.
Um,
They were
I
pretty
don't know.
minimal
I'd
though,
need.
if I remember correctly. I mean, it was just
Yeah.
shorter periods of time, one during the season, and then maybe one in November somewhere.
Yeah, so I guess I should have looked this up before the show, but I would imagine that maybe they'll adjust the if there were any for the summer that they can adjust those um to allow kids to start doing things right away on June 1, and hopefully we don't have to ever do that again because it is ridiculous. 16 months, you're doing Zooms. Maybe if you were close enough, you were able to go check out the campus on your own, but you're still not getting the real experience and getting to know the coaches
Yes.
and the team and the culture you're walking into.
Yep.
And that's
Because
another
to that point,
reason.
Kyle, when you go there, even if you were to pay your own dime, to my understanding, you can't really meet with the team and the coaches, right?
No, you can't
That's what
talk
I've
to
been
the
told.
coaches at all. Yeah, you can't talk to the coaches at all. If you were lucky enough, let's say like a kid on the team like went to your high school or something, you had a
Yeah.
relationship with him, you could like link up with him and he could show you around and stuff like that. But other than that, yeah, you were just kind of on your own. Maybe if the school was running their normal like campus tours that you usually see like daily, maybe you could get in on one of those. Um, but as we talked about, they made a rule change because coaches were getting smart. They couldn't those campus tours couldn't go to athletic facilities unless the tour normally did before uh, the
So everyone
pandemic
changed
because
their
coaches were
tour real fast.
yeah because coaches were
Eh,
getting smart, which I applaud them, getting creative.
absolutely.
Uh, but the 1 year free eligibility that we saw this year, we talked to Coach Jaggers about it way back when it first got announced. I think it's going to cause the transfer portal to look super busy, but also
Oh,
I
yeah.
think the dead period is going to impact that as well because kids are going to maybe went to a place this year and they're like, this is not what I thought it was going to be, or
Oh, yeah. Good
they're
point.
they're seniors this year and they get there and they're like, man, I I was duped on
How did I
these
end up
virtual
here?
Zooms. Yeah, exactly. This is I did not know the culture of this team. I do not fit in here, or man, I don't like living in this place. That I really
Yes.
wasn't able to visit at all. So I think you'll see a lot of probably freshmen go in as well.
Yeah. I think that's definitely the case. I was actually just thinking this morning about how interesting it's gonna be to see the seniors that don't use their 6th year of eligibility, and you know what? I actually think it's initially, I thought it wasn't gonna be very many people. Now I think it's gonna be a lot of them. I mean, you're just gonna what, you saying go to graduate school for no good damn reason? I mean, come on, that doesn't make sense. And you're not gonna
Right.
finish your graduate school in 1 year, so then you're gonna commit to multiple years more of college. Um, yeah, I bet we're gonna see a whole bunch of people forego that last year. That's what I feel.
It wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah, because if you're younger and you know you got the 6th year, so I use a smart guy like Peyton Mako, and I know him and I've had conversations, right? So when he gets
Yep.
the extra year of eligibility this year, he says, "Okay, I'm gonna have 6 years." Now he's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna speed up my plan, so by the time the 6 year hits, I'll have my regular degree and my graduate degree done." You know what I'm saying? But if you were
Yep.
only planning doing 5 years and then all of a sudden they say you have number 6, well, you're not gonna have enough time to kind of, plot out the progress so you can get the regular and the graduate done, and so you would need another year on top of that.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Sorry, I'm was distracted because you know how a few weeks ago we talked about Spay will change um, the FRL banner to funny things. And I
Uh-huh.
think just not being in the studio and I'm out of my usual routine of like checking the banner and make sure it's saying something that we're talking about during the show.
Uh-oh, he got you.
JD hit me up and the FRL banner on the site said, "I take back all the mean things I've ever said about the sun." They put that because he gets sunburnt very easily, so he hates the sun. But now he is really hating this weather and and was wishing the sun was out because he was able to get to Minneapolis yesterday. You remember he was stuck in Iowa for Captain's Cup. He was
How
able to
many of
get to
them were stuck in
Minneapolis.
Iowa? Because I mean, it's cold up here, but it's not nasty or anything.
So Bader ended up just going to St. Louis, where his family is.
Hmm.
and then
Oh,
I think
Bader,
is
nice,
gonna
nice little visit home. Nice, like it.
yeah. Yeah, so Bader ended up getting to St. Louis, and I think is just gonna try to get back sometime this weekend when things are all clear. Um,
Yeah.
and then Spay got to Minneapolis, and he thought he was gonna be yeah, it was yesterday, and he thought he was gonna be able to get home, and then it got canceled. So he was in Minneapolis last night, and
Oh
then
my god.
JD got to Atlanta, and then got picked up by CP. So, and I don't even know
There you
about our
go.
production guys. Who knows about all the production people that were there? But
Seriously.
so well played, Spay on the banner there.
Is
Um,
HQ even open? Like, is there anyone there right now?
yeah, it's open. Monday and Tuesday they were like they pretty much told us like don't come in unless like you have no power, just
Yeah.
because the roads were really bad. But I knew there were a good amount of people in there yesterday because one they didn't have power, so they were getting warm and getting work done and stuff like that. But yeah, it is open.
They could just bring some cots. You could throw some showers in the corner.
Yeah,
Live in dorms at HQ.
yeah. If we don't get some water, maybe I'll go live there this weekend too. Well, Ben, did you
Yeah.
see anything else on Twitter yesterday you want to talk about, or you want to talk about
Um,
some of these good matches going on this weekend?
yeah, I think we talked about duels because it's our last weekend of duels. So you have Iowa, Wisconsin on here, but last I heard that was TBD. Did they make that official yet?
No, I just put it in there just in case it does happen. And it's only a few real matches that are really kind of worth anything.
Yeah. So I mean that's it's crazy that now we are what 3 days away and it's still TBD. Like they don't know. I'm gonna look up on their
Yeah.
website and see if they've changed that on there yet. I mean, that's insane, right? Like, hey, we might be going
No, it is.
to Wisconsin in 3 days, but we might not. Like, geez.
No, it's insane. I guess in 2021 you have to stay super flexible too.
Yeah. See what it says. I'm
What are you
clicking on the
finding?
schedule. See what it says. I am finding it says 8 p.m. It said TBD the other day. It says 8 p.m. now. I say it's happening.
Oh, it says 8 p.m. now?
8 p.m. on Sunday. That's a late duel. Damn.
That is. That is late.
Yep. All right. We breaking news. Wisconsin versus Iowa is on.
It's on. And if it's off, we never said it was on.
Yeah. Or no, it was Iowa's website's fault.
Well, good. Hold on. I'm getting back to the um recruiting stuff. Michael Andrews put it in the Facebook chat. He said Dead Period is going to show us who the best recruiters are in terms of finding those diamonds in the rough type of recruits who get the most of their offers later in high school. And he's right about that too because we missed a lot of the really good national postseason tournaments that we usually see.
So
Ohio didn't get to have their state tournament. We didn't get to see Cadet, Junior, Fargo,
yeah.
like all that stuff. Um, so and while we had Super 32, the field probably wasn't as deep as it usually is. Um, no
So
Ironman.
I would say to that, I would say number one, good. I like that recruiting is pushed back. I think the timelines move too fast. But I would think um, the number one factor, and that would be that listen, I'm not gonna name names, but I can name plenty of them and ages a couple of them. These college coaches, they get kids on campus and they put the heat on them. Right?
Yeah.
And they almost I don't wanna say they make the kids say yes. Well, listen, I'll tell you one guy, he has graduated college now. And this is Kyle, this is a true story. And this guy would go on to be a Division One college All American who did not stay at
Okay.
his first school. So he's
Okay.
on this is so dumb. And I promise it's true. I'm not lying. I'm not making this up. So he goes on his recruiting trip to some school, and the coach is trying to get him to commit, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he said something like flippant, like, "Yeah, sure," or whatever, and he had no real intention of committing to that university. And the college coach goes, "Did you just commit?" And he's like, and he goes, the college coach goes, "Oh man, that's so awesome. We're so excited to have you. You got to announce on your social media." And he said, "I just didn't have the heart to tell him otherwise." And the guy went to
Oh my
school there
God.
for a year.
No.
He went to school at that university for a year because the coach said, "Did you just commit?"
Yeah.
He would
Oh
go
my
on to be a
God. He actually
he
went
would I
there.
can tell you later, he if I had his permission to tell it on the show, I would just say what his name is. He would go on to be a Division I college All-American. But that kind of stuff, it happens all the time, and I would say, even worse stuff than that. That for me, that one was on the kid, for the kid not saying, "No, I didn't
Yeah,
commit. What are you talking about? Like, I got 3 more visits to do, crazy man."
for sure.
So,
They'll put like ultimatums or like deadlines. Like, hey, offer comes off the table this Friday at
yes,
9 p.m. If you don't accept it, we're pulling it.
yes. I
When
hate
like
that
kids
one.
haven't even when kids haven't even taken all their visits or gotten to really make their decision.
Yeah.
But yeah, that happens a lot.
And they're obviously arbitrary deadlines, but the high school kids are too stupid to realize that deadline does not matter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, they feel the pressure, and the
yeah,
deadline just doesn't matter. That's usually what I advise. I'm like, so I always tell the kids to have respect both ways. I'm like, listen, their deadline's bullshit. Don't listen to it whatsoever. But at the same time, if a university really offers you a scholarship, you don't want to leave it on the table for like 5 months, right? Because then their
right.
money is tied up, and then they could be going to find someone else if you are actually not going to attend the university. So while you don't need to pay attention to their deadline, you should be kind of respectful of their process and try to do it with a certain amount of time, or else just say, "Hey, listen, coach, I'm not ready. You should go look for somebody else. And if I decide later, then I'll come back to you." And then obviously maybe they don't have money, they don't have money.
Yeah, it's a two-way street. You don't want to
Yes.
lead them on either. They don't want to have
Yes.
them spending 5 months recruiting you when you know deep down you're never gonna go there. Um, just tell them. Just tell them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So
okay,
no,
let's get into the duels this weekend.
let's do it.
Okay. Starting on Friday night, I think it's a double header on Big Ten Network, which is a nice little double header. Michigan State, Michigan, and then I think right into Penn State, Ohio State.
Nice.
Starting at 5 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, nice little back to back there. And the Michigan State, Michigan, you got a couple good matchups. Well, I guess depending on what Michigan does at 125, um, Rayvon Foley and Dylan Ragusin, you could see. But then the big one would be, oh yeah, thank you. I put Cam Amin there. Should be Miles Mean, and
Yes.
he's number one, and Cam Caffey is like number 10. I had to mess that all up. Um,
So if Michael Beard and Gavin Hoffman, I don't want to say they gave a tough time, but wasn't a blowout. Camp Caffey should be able to keep it relatively close because he is tricky like that. What do you think?
no, I totally agree. And Caffey, I believe, had a 1 point match with Eric Schultz, who was number
Yes.
one
We talked about
until
that match was a
Miles
disaster.
Mean
We
moved
talked
up.
about that because they should have
Yes,
called some more
it was
scoring.
a disaster. 6-5, 6-5 was the final there. As you talked
Yeah.
about, kind of a weird officiated match. Uh, and I didn't like we didn't really talk about we more focused on like Penn State when we talked about Penn State Michigan, but I thought Michigan didn't look great. That obviously wasn't their best performance. They looked like a team that had been off for a
Yeah.
little bit. Um, I don't know what those guys were able to do when the athletic department was shut down. I don't know if they were able to get to local clubs or they were just all on their own or what. But I didn't
Yeah.
think Miles Amin looked great. It was his first folk style match in 2 years,
Mhm.
so maybe that played a part in it. I didn't think he looked particularly big. I don't know about you.
No, I
Um,
agree.
I, I don't know. I worry. I would kind of worry about him with some of these guys with more horsepower. Um,
Like Ford
because we
Focus?
saw like Ford Focus,
No, Adams
like
got some
Stephen
horsepower.
Buchanan, Noah Adams. Yeah, those guys are big. They're fast. They're strong. They blow through
Yeah.
you. All three of those guys. So I don't know. And we saw Trent Hidley kind of do that to him at RTC Cup.
Mhm.
But his defense did look great. He did the little spin out that you like against Beard.
You mean oh my god, Hamlin?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good one.
He
People
did that
should
on
run that
the
one more.
edge to score
How do
against
you know
Beard.
I
It looked
like
like
that?
Beard had
You
we
caught me
talked
off
about it
guard
on
there.
this
How do
show
you
before.
Okay. I'm like, how do
We've
you know I
talked
like
about it
that
on
move?
here.
Okay. Got it.
Uh, so it will be interesting to see how he look. Maybe he looks better with another week of training, and now he has 2 matches
Yeah.
under his belt. But watch out for that one. Cam Caffey's got some tricky defense. Um,
And he's a
and
pretty good
then
mat wrestler too. So, obviously, I can't really imagine that Miles Amine has been training his folk style real hard, right? I got to
right,
assume the majority of his training over the past, I don't know, 2 years has been freestyle based. So, if Caffey could get a takedown and he could probably ride him for a while, is what I would guess. But I mean, yeah, I think Amin's a significant favorite, but look for Caffey to keep it close.
100. Um, then the nightcap, Penn State, Ohio State, and if we start at 125, we got a really good one to kind of
Hmm.
measure where Robbie Howard is. And someone even asked the question, um, is Robert Howard the answer for Penn State's 125-pound struggles? Um, it's probably a little too early to tell, but he appears that he will be good. Um,
Yeah.
so and if he can beat Malik Heinzelman, he's a top 10 guy in the country. So that would be a
Yeah,
really good one.
Malik's made a
You got any
jump this
thoughts on
year.
how that could play out?
I mean, Malik's just gotten so much better this year. So yeah, this is a huge measuring stick for Robbie Howard. I mean, Malik's only loss this year is to Devin Schrader, and it's 1-0. So yeah, I think we get a really good idea of where he's at going into the Big Tens, which we see what is this? I mean, it's third match or something ridiculous. But yes, it'll give us a good idea.
Yeah. And then 165, Ethan Smith versus Joe Lee. I think Joe Lee looked all right against Cam Amin. There were some fun exchanges that he was able to scramble out of that he kind of looked dead to rights. And
Hmm.
another kind of measuring stick, Ethan Smith has been
Yes.
excellent this year.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Exactly, another measuring stick for them because Joe Lee. Um, I mean, at some point, Penn State's going to need these guys who are, I guess, on the outside looking in to step up. Um,
Hmm.
Lee's only loss is to Cam Amin, which kind of leaves us to believe that he's definitely on the outside looking in. If you could win over Ethan Smith is man, I don't. I would probably say top 12 guy. I don't really know what you guys have him ranked at. Sometimes I catch myself
Eighth right
saying things
now,
because I don't. Eighth, okay, good. So I was close.
yeah,
Yeah, would be a gigantic win for him.
100%.
Yeah.
Um, Caleb Romero, Carter Starocki. I'm a
This is what I
little
wanna see right
skeptical.
here.
Yeah, it'd be the marquee match tonight. I'm a little skeptical it will happen. I don't know. I don't have any inside info. I know that Romero missed last week against Michigan. Um,
And
and
he
I
had
don't
the
know.
injury
Ankles
against,
are kind of
Iowa.
yeah against Kimmer. Ankles are always kind of weird. Um, and
So
unfortunately,
someone
like
put this in
usually
the chat. No, this was a Facebook question yesterday, Kyle, but I don't think we answered it. Um,
the
and they said if Romero sits out, these last 2, will he still be the, what, 3 seed at Big Ten? Is that what they said?
yeah, we talked about it. We said he likely probably would be
Yeah. Which I don't know. I don't really feel good about that
right.
because I mean, Grello, Kradiger, Shannon, while they're all really solid guys. They're not Soroki and Massa at this point. And so it kind of feels weird to have him seated above some of those guys, despite the fact that he hasn't beaten any of them.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. It doesn't
Matt,
feel
how many?
right, and that's
So, man, I don't know. You could make an argument for him not to be. I mean, Massa's got one loss. Um, Soroki's got one loss, and Romero's got one loss. I think you could make a very valid argument to have um, Romero moved down. I don't know if you'd win the argument, but you could definitely make that argument.
yeah. It's he has wins over Shannon, Crowder, Gello, Hughes, Spatafora. Um, I don't know. Maybe you could say Staroki the two, and then
Yeah. So I mean, Donnell's
Massa
got 2
3.
losses. Yeah.
Oh,
Then
wait
you,
about
then you go.
Labriola's the 2.
Yeah, Lebril is the 2. Then you go, but then you
Yeah,
could go Then you could go Sterokey, Massa, or Romero, and then after that, I guess you'd probably go Donnell, something like that.
I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I actually would go Roki 3 because he beat Massa. I would
Yeah,
reward that win.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I think it makes sense. So then
And then
this match would make a lot of difference because then you'd have the 3 or the 4 seed. Um, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
yeah, and in our seating, you would get, if you were the 3, you would get away from Michael Kimmer,
Mhm.
um, and avoid being on the same side as Logan Massa because in this scenario, we would have him as the 4.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that'd be
he should
solid.
wrestle. You should Caleb Romero. You should wrestle. Um.
Here we are
So
making big
then, and then
decisions
a
on the show.
heavyweight. Yeah, we're making big decisions. Tom Ryan, hope you're listening. Um. Then Seth Neville's Tate Orndorff to close it out. They're 14-16, but I would favor Neville's in that match from what I've seen this year.
Yeah, Orndorff's, I wanna say almost taking a step down a little bit. I think 197 is interesting also. I think Beard versus, Hoffman, or I guess maybe they throw in Singletary, but that's another one where those guys are on the outside looking in for All American. Um, and then listen, I still want to see whoever they got at 41 versus Nick Lee. And I mean, I know Nick Lee is a gigantic favorite, but I still want to see it. And I would like them to throw Bo Bartlett out 149. Let's just see how it goes. Listen, he takes a butt whooping. It's one butt whooping. Throw him out there against the number one guy in the country. See what happens. Ain't gonna be that bad.
It would be pretty
What do you
awesome if they
think?
did that. It would be awesome. But yeah, and like you're right, you have nothing to lose. I just was looking up Bartlett's resume this year. 5-0. 4 of the matches were contested against 41 pounders. He beat Cole Madden of Michigan, the lone 149-pound match, 8-4 over the weekend.
Yeah. Penn State's done such a committee at 149. They got the Bear Claw in there,
Hmm.
who like he's all right. I mean, so he's 2-2. He has losses to Thomas and Store. His wins aren't great. They have Verclaren, which we haven't seen Verclaren in a while, have we? Feel like it's been. I'm gonna click on it, but it feels like it's been a minute.
It's been
And
a few
he's
weeks.
0-1.
It's been, yeah,
He's 0-1. Man, that's not looking promising for him because he doesn't even meet the 4 match minimum then. Who's the
correct.
other guy they use there?
They have,
Bearclaw, Verclair, and I know I'm forgetting there's one
Luke
more at least.
Gardner.
Gardner, yes. What's his record?
Yep, he
Yeah,
is
I don't think at this
3
point
and
they have
0.
anything to lose. You know. Yeah, but they're
Yeah,
all
you
I
got,
the Sherbrooke win's good, but the other one are not good.
yeah, Sharon Brock's solid win. Um, at 41, I mean, what do you want to see there? You just want to see Nick Lee get bonus points on one of those guys?
Um I mean, I think if you throw Etchemendy out there, which I think he hurt his ankle against Ironman, so maybe he's not. Man, I feel like maybe Etchemendy will figure out the folk style thing at some point. I mean, the match versus Ironman was 0-0. But then you look at like, okay, well, would Nick Lee choose top and just torch him? But maybe we would get 2 periods of really good neutral wrestling, and then maybe Nick Lee chooses top and torches him in the third. Um, yeah, I don't know. You guys hyped him up, clickbaited him, and now I want to see him. This is your fault. I'm blaming this on you.
Okay, yeah, blame flow culture. Um, I mean, we hyped him up because he was absolutely destroying all
Someone
these
asked
top.
me, yeah,
Go
who?
ahead.
Josh
Well,
Saunders
he
was
just
that
was
was
he
the
was
reason you guys hyped him as much because he killed Josh Saunders, and Josh Saunders is really, really good, right?
yeah, Josh Saunders was placing at senior level tournaments as a senior in high school. And then he also destroyed all these top prospects at Fargo. He messed up Victor Voinovich, who was number one at his weight that year.
Yeah,
That coming in, he's going to Oklahoma State and he's a top 20 recruit. Um, so he's
yeah,
beating all of these dudes, and it's like, man, can you imagine this guy in a college wrestling room? And then it's like, oh my gosh, he'd be training at Ohio State and Logan Stieber's there, and him and Sammy Sasso are working out every day,
yeah.
and they're just iron sharpens iron. And then it just hasn't. I don't know. I think the transition to folk style is a lot tougher than maybe we thought it would be. And
Yeah.
uh, obviously the mat work is he's clearly really behind. Um,
Very,
I
yeah,
mean,
very.
even if it's D'Amelio, I mean, he lost the wrestle off to D'Amelio because he got turned, you know. Um,
Yes. Mhm.
so even if it's D'Amelio, Nick Lee, I think, is gonna get bonus points, whether it's on
Yeah.
top or just his pace and neutral takedowns. It's just it's a different ball game.
Okay, well, I got an idea that's not gonna happen, but a man could dream. What if we went Bo Bartlett, Etchemendia, Nick Lee, Sammy Sasso? Are you in?
I'm definitely more interested in that. Yes, I'm in on that.
Oh, somebody said Michael Andrews, "I'm sorry I stole your idea." I was not on the Facebook chat. He said the same thing.
Yes, I'm all in on that. That is much more. That's much more. And yeah, Kozak brings up a good point. It's like Anthony Etchemendio was winning on criteria against James Green with under a minute to go at the RTC Cup,
Yeah.
and
So crazy, right? So
Green got
crazy.
the clutch takedown and then dropped right into a lace and ended it. But I mean, he was winning on criteria in under a minute.
Yeah.
Uh, I absolutely think he can figure out this folk style thing, and I'm really interested to see him. I mean, he also wrestled Evan Henderson won, I think, like 6-2 or 7-2, but he wrestled Henderson tough. Um,
Yes.
so clearly he feels more comfortable during doing freestyle, and I would be interested to see him in the spring, summer.
Yeah. Um, okay, so Northwestern versus Minnesota, and you got a couple matches in here, but I feel like Northwestern hasn't wrestled their 25-33 in forever.
It was
Like, I feel like it's
it's
been a whole
weird.
bunch of duels.
Yeah, I don't think Cannon has wrestled since they had that try with Penn State and Indiana, and
Yeah, it's
then
been a minute.
Di D'Agostino wrestled February 7th, but then didn't wrestle last weekend, I don't think.
I'm gonna look them
So
up
I
and
don't
see
know
how many
what's
matches they each have. It can't be very many. It cannot be very
D'Agostino
many.
has 3. I'm looking at D'Agostino right now. He has 3.
Okay, I'll look up
Um,
Cannon. Cannon's got Chris Cannon. He's got 4. That was more than I would have guessed 2 or 3. He's got 4. So he beat Luigs, Thompson, Cockrell, and Cummings. He beat all those guys. So I guess he's got the minimum.
but you're right. Northwestern, it's been as someone that does the dual rankings, it's been frustrating because when they have all their starters in the lineup, they have like 5 top 15 guys in our top 25 dual team, but I
Yeah.
don't think they've wrestled a single duel this year with all 5 of their ranked guys in the duel. And so
Definitely not because they've only
taken
wrestled 1 with Deacon.
right. And Davison has missed a bunch. He hasn't wrestled since January 30th. He's 3-1 with a loss to Eric Schultz. Um, so yeah, it's got. I mean, I don't. I'm sure injuries, COVID, all that stuff. So I'm sure it's just as frustrating
Yeah.
for Coach Torniolo as it is us the fans. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm interested in D'Agostino, Pat McKee. You saw Eric Barnett just
McKee looked
torch
like
Pat McKee.
garbage last week, though.
He did. So I'm interested to see if he bounces back or what happens here. And then Deacon, man, he freaking messed up Modal. It was like a 21-4 tech fall, and Modal was
And
like
Model usually
kind
has
of
a relatively good gas tank. It kinda can keep things close and slow people down, so that was I was pretty blown away. Obviously, I knew Deacon was gonna win, but I was pretty blown away with that result.
they he did wrestle an extra match, and like some of the teams have been doing them before the duel, some have been doing after, like or while it's
Yeah.
going on. And he only beat Devin Barr 7-4, and I don't know when that match happened. If it was before the duel,
Devin
after,
Barr,
whatever.
is really, uber defensive, really solid defensively, so, while I would have never guessed it was that close. That is shocking to me, and I did not see that. Um, I would have guessed that Devin Barr would be able to slow him down a little bit, for sure.
Okay. So yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know if they did
Um,
that after, or if he was just coasting or what, but that was a little surprising to see after he messed up Model.
yeah. So, hey, McKee beat Barnett 8-0 last year. and then this
Yeah.
year lost to him 17-4. And there was nothing really competitive about the match. I mean, Barnett, I think he maybe got taken down one time, but he got a couple of versatile takedowns, back points on top. I mean, just kind of controlled every position. Maybe McKee was sick. I don't know, but it wasn't really slightly competitive, which makes me think that if he faces D'Agostino, that he's not the favorite.
Yeah, and D'Agostino, talking about guys that are tough to score on, he is tough to score on. He's tough on top. Um, that might not be the best matchup for McKee. I'm not sure how their series went last year. I'm sure that
Mhm.
they hit. Try to look that up real quick. But and then at 57, Deegan and Braden Lee. That's interesting to me
That's
because
the
um,
mhm.
uh, Braden Lee is so good, just like hand fighting, and he's got a great pace, and he's in these matches with everybody. I'm interested to see if he can hang in there with Deegan. That'd be the toughest test he's seen at 57 for sure.
Yes. Yeah, that
Wow,
that that's a
D'Agostino
fun
and
one right
McKee did
there.
not hit last year.
Yeah. I'll zoom
That's
out.
pretty wild.
Yeah. Nebraska, Illinois, this has a lot of fun matches, so let's just hope that it happens. And it's especially fun because, there's not highly seeded guys where they're not competitive. Like every one of these matches that you have down here, I think is going to be really, really competitive. Like to the point where I could easily see either person winning. Probably the biggest favorite of all five of these matches, I would say, would be Chad Red. Um, but besides
Mhm.
that, all these probably coin flips.
Yeah, to kind of run through them real quick. Cronin, Cardani, Red, Duncan, Bronigal, Rob, Bronigal, Vince, and Luffman, Christian Lance. Luffman and Lance kind of been big risers this year in the heavyweight rankings. They both beat Hilger.
Yes.
That'd be really interesting. Vince has kind of been struggling, but Bronigal hasn't been as consistent as he was last year either. Um,
Which one? Zach? We're talking about Zach.
Zach, yeah, he's.
Zach's the
Let me
bigger one.
pull him up here.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Let me pull him up here. He
I feel like he's
lost
had a
he's
good
lost to
year.
Weiler,
Wilder's
Weiler,
good.
Lyon, and Webster.
Man, I mean, none of those guys. Okay, none of those guys are super great, but none of them are bad either.
No, I mean he beat Webster last year. I'm pretty sure he beat Lyon last year, is all I was saying.
Yeah, yeah. Max Lyon's not really had a great year either. He's 3-4. Although all of his wins are relatively good, but yeah,
Yeah, he beat
I guess
Nelson
it's the Big
Brands.
Ten. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
At
on the
184 in the
lucky
Big
back
Ten,
end,
they just take turns beating each other, and it's a mess and it's a disaster, and we hate it. So
and we hate it. Um,
it's a nightmare to
yeah,
rank.
so, did they wrestle Bedlam already? Am I dreaming here?
No, they did. They wrestled Bedlam twice a year
This
for
is
some
so
reason. They
crazy
didn't
that they
always.
still do it too. We have 10 matches this year, Kyle. Why the hell are they doing it twice?
I don't know. I don't know. Oklahoma State wrestled Little Rock twice too.
That's wild. I mean, they're having 10 matches and the wrestling teams twice. That seems like shenanigans.
I don't understand neither. But they have they for some reason always do like to do two Bedlams. They like each. I don't know. They've done this for a long time. I don't understand it. The schools are like an hour away from each other. It's not like if a visiting fan base wanted to go to the duel, they couldn't get a ticket or get to it. It's an hour away. Um,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's
Um,
Oklahoma fans in Stillwater and Oklahoma State fans in Norman. So I don't know. I don't understand it. Maybe someone in Oklahoma can explain it to me, but they've done this for a long time. They're going to do it again. And I'm assuming Oklahoma State's only going to win by more because Dayton Fix is in the lineup this time. And I don't know. I don't really
well,
see any match going the other way this time.
I was gonna say, do you think? Well, I mean, Woodley Ferrari was one that I was going to bring up, and I think Ferrari has a very specific style. When we talk about he's disciplined and he's powerful, but our guy's going to get a feel for it and know what to expect. And he already does it like that. The first match is 3-2. It's not like he comes by takedowns
Hmm.
really easily. So is it going to be even tougher for him to get takedowns when these guys, sometimes when a guy's extra powerful, I don't know if you ever wrestled a guy like this, and you just like you kind of know it, but you never felt it. And then once you felt them once and you feel the timing and the power, and he's kind of straightforward, he's not tricky. And once you have the feel for it, you can wrestle that person a lot better. I know that happened for me a few times in my life. So I'm kind of thinking like, is that going to happen to Ferrari? Because at this point, he hasn't wrestled anyone twice. This will be the first person, but then obviously, as he gets into the Big 12 tournament and the United States, there's probably gonna be multiple people that he sees multiple times.
Yeah, as and I kind of said almost a similar thing when we saw the match with Noah Adams when he beat him. It's like, okay, here's what you do when he gets down on a knee, don't go towards him. And Noah got
Yes.
down on a knee sometimes too when he did it, or he would just circle away from it. Um, but I just don't know. I don't know if Woodley has the offense to like get in on him and score,
But
and
so
that's
what
why I
so what
would.
could happen here, and I've seen this, I could name a handful of people over the course of history. What can happen here is then they just sit back more. And Ferrari's not going to get a lot of stalling calls against the other person because he doesn't pursue. There's not enough pressure,
Hmm.
right? And the ref, when if both people are doing nothing, the ref's kind of like, let them both do nothing type of thing. Um,
Yeah,
and so, if Woodley thinks like, okay, well, I can't take him down, or I'm having a really hard time taking him, I'm gonna just play really defensive so I don't give up a stupid one. And then I'm gonna try to ride him for a minute, or we're gonna go to overtime. I'm trying to get him tired. And so the matches do become tougher because the one person realizes, okay, I am an underdog here, and I know how I lost last time, and I'm sure as shit not losing that way again. So I'm gonna kind of lock it down a little more, and I'm gonna make the guy earn the win harder. And so that would become, like I said, so matches would become more and more difficult for him as that type of thing happened.
yeah. It would be really interesting to see it how Woodley approaches it because if I'm remembering the match right, he walked in to Ferrari on his
Yeah,
knees, and Ferrari
that's
got
what
in
I'm
on a
saying.
single, and he converted it, and that was the only takedown of the match. No, I totally get what you're saying. It'll be really interesting to see if maybe Ferrari's more aggressive this time now that he's felt Woodley, um, or what Woodley does different. But yeah, I'm interested to see that again. Uh, what Boo versus Mitch Moore was close last time. Mitch does a good job of slowing guys down
Eh,
too. He's he's kind of a home run guy. If he doesn't pin you in the first period, it's going to be a 1 point match. It's just every match with him. He pins you quick, or it's a close match. Um,
mhm.
and then 57 actually was a really good match last time, um, between Wyatt Sheets and Justin Thomas. It went to tiebreakers, and Sheets actually got a reversal and tie. He rode. I'm pretty sure he rode Thomas out. Then he went down, got a reversal. Thomas got an escape and a takedown in like the last 15 seconds to beat him. So kind of a wild finish there. Um, and
Where's this
Sheets
one
has
gonna be
since
aired?
lost.
Is this gonna be like ESPN Oklahoma
I
or
think it's
something?
ESPNU. I think you.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I don't get that, so I'll have to
Um.
figure out how to catch a few matches.
So and Master Giovanni just lost, but Mason Navy from Oklahoma, I think, only has a one win on the year.
Okay,
Mantanona is
that's
always dangerous, I guess, but Plot
and that one actually, I don't know
almost.
why you didn't put that on there because Mantanona, obviously, he's not great, right? But he does some really good things. Um, and Plot is very efficient with his offense, but sometimes he gets a little too squirrely. So that's one that I think could get really wild really fast.
So I guess I didn't put it on here because Mantanona has gone from like number 9 in the country to completely out of the rankings. Um,
Yeah.
and they wrestled. I watched. They wrestled. It was 11-6 when they wrestled last time, and
Mhm.
Mantanona did sneak a takedown in the first period, but Plot lived on his legs, had him exhausted by the end of the match. He tried the high flyer once, and he didn't come close to getting it, but he was
Mm.
able to save himself from giving up a takedown. Plot just kind of kicked out of it over the top. Um, I don't know.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I think Plot's just gonna live on his legs and stay safe, and nothing happened. I don't know. Ant
And your
Man
guy,
has
I looked
been
I looked up
good.
Naifa, or how do you say his name? Naif?
I'm
Naifa?
pretty sure Nafi. Nafee.
Nafee.
Yeah.
Man, he's 1-7, but he has a win over the number 35 guy, and he's lost to number 8, number 17, 47, 25, 33, 14, 79. It's like, he's probably not really that bad. He's just only wrestled relatively good people.
No, and when he beat Killian Carnell of West Virginia, and when he beat him, Carnell was ranked, I think, like 20 in the 20s or something.
Yeah,
Um, but since then he hasn't won a match, and Cardinals won like 6 in a row. So I don't know.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
doing
for sure.
I was actually doing Big 12 rankings yesterday and looking at that because Cardinal has these wins over Fippen and some of the top guys in the Big 12, but he has that loss to Nafee. But since then, he hasn't lost,
Yeah,
and Nafee hasn't won since then. So,
yeah,
um,
tough.
another match that was good last time was heavyweight. Heinzelman and Harris have both worked their way into the top 20. That was a sudden victory match last time, so see what happens there. And
Nice.
then Iowa, Wisconsin, Sunday night nightcap. We confirmed it's happening, even though we don't really know if it's happening. Um,
We kinda confirmed
but
it. We kinda confirmed it.
Spencer Lee, I don't know. Eric
Hey,
Barnett has no
you
chance,
know what
but
I will tell you about Eric Barnett? He's strong.
okay,
And
okay.
what the one I relate Spencer Lee to is Anthony Robles. And Anthony Robles, if a guy wasn't strong, he was gonna snatch up their wrist, and then it was whoop, 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 and they were gonna roll a whole bunch of times. Barnett maybe is strong enough to keep his wrist away this year. And
Stop.
okay, let's see. Can Barnett make it to the
No,
second period? No?
no,
You're out. You're saying
no.
no. You're saying no.
Yes,
You said
I'm saying
Barnett couldn't
no.
be in a tier. He's in a tier. I'm saying Barnett's making the second period.
Okay, I'm saying he's not.
What do you want to bet?
I
What do you want
don't
to bet
know. What
on
do
it?
you want? I don't know.
30 push-ups. 30 push-ups.
Okay,
Or 3
30
Bitcoin.
push-ups. You give me 3 Bitcoin. I give you 30 push-ups.
That's not fair.
Um, I know. No, I just it's not happening. It's not. I don't know. He's gonna turn. He's gonna take him down. You really think he can
Barnett's gonna
avoid? Okay,
Barnett's
he
gonna go
doesn't.
freestyle. He's gonna do this number. He might get turned once. He's going to second period. He's getting on top. He's gonna throw the boots in and pull him over. Nah, maybe not. Okay. The bet stands. The bet stands. Second period.
All right, all right. You know we're
Barnett's
live right
strong.
now.
I,
As
I
CP likes to say,
I
you know
just
we're
put
live and
I
people can
put that
hear
out.
you.
I put that out to all the people. Yes.
All right. Um, Ollie. I mean, I think
We're betting. We're
he's
betting. We
been
already
he's
bet.
you've been well. No, I was just gonna say I think Spencer pins him. He's been pinning everyone. 121, 155,
Yeah.
230, 132.
Well, in all fairness, it is 4 because that's all he's wrestled. But yes, he's been
It
pinning
is.
everybody.
It is, but if you look at 3 of the guys he pinned, they're ranked in the top 17.
Cardandi's at 17?
Yeah,
Damn, he's 2-5.
yeah. Remember we talked about him yesterday.
Yes, we talked about this. Wild. Okay, let's go. 84, I think is interesting. Again, these guys all beat each other. I could see it going either direction. Um, I'd probably lean Brand. Weiler's uses gas tank and maybe rides him though. Brands is not great on bottom. That's how he lost to Lion.
Yeah,
Or who
that
you
would
picking?
be. Hmm, I'm probably gonna pick Brands, but the bottom would worry me. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then
Hmm.
Cassiope is undefeated against Hilger, I believe. And Hilger hasn't been great this year. And outside of getting majored by Gable, which everyone has been getting messed up by Gable, Cassiope I think has pinned everybody.
Yeah. So Hilger hasn't wrestled the last couple matches. I hear there might be some injury issues or something. So I don't even know that he's gonna wrestle this one for sure.
He wrestled.
Um,
He wrestled their last duel.
did he against Northwestern?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, but he missed a few in there, so he didn't
yeah,
wrestle for a couple weeks, I guess. All right, so he's back. But I mean Jack Hayob and
yeah.
Cassiope are quite a bit different.
They're very different. Very different.
Very different. I
Uh,
mean, yeah.
yeah, definitely leaning Cassiope.
Okay. Questions from
All right, you got
friends?
anything else you want to get to question from friends? Let's do
Yeah,
it.
let's do it.
Uh, we kind of covered this, but your daily vitamin asks, is Robbie Howard finally the answer to Penn State's problems at 125? I feel like he's definitely trending in that direction.
TBD. Because the other thing we talk about Penn State is a guy who's ranked 7th through 12th is for a lot of teams would be a great answer. For Penn State is not the answer because they're trying to win national titles. So I will say at this point, to be determined, it's a possibility.
Fair. Um, Wrestling fan, I think we all know who 125 is going to at Big Tens, but how does 2 through 8 go if Soriano doesn't wrestle?
Yeah, this is a good quote. We highlighted this yesterday because how what did I say? There's 12 of them in the top 25 or something like that.
Yeah.
When I looked at your rankings, it was something totally crazy.
So right now,
I feel
Cronin
like,
is the second highest ranked guy at number 7, but I don't feel
but then they're
comfortable
all right
picking
next
Liam
to each
Cronin to
other.
make the finals. Yeah, then you have
I mean,
D'Agostino at 8, Heinzelman at 10, Barnett at 11, McKee at 12, Foley at 13, Schroeder at 14, Ragusan at 16, Cardani at 17, Hudkins at 19. He hasn't wrestled in a little bit, but Robbie Howard at 21 and Nick Aguilar 25.
I literally feel like almost any of those guys could make the finals opposite Spencer, and I'm not that shocked. I mean, Schrader, Foley, McKee, Barnett, Heinzelman, D'Agostino, Cronin, for sure, any of those guys. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I think getting 2, 3, 6, or 7 in the seeding is huge. A 6 seed is better than a 4 seed for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Devin Schroeder. He beat all these guys last year and was a top 5 guy to start the year and has really been struggling. You really felt it was him and Spencer coming into the year as the clear 1-2, but now I don't know that for sure. Like you said, it wouldn't shock
Yeah,
me if
because
anyone from Cronin to Schroeder was in the finals.
yeah, I mean, because Schroeder was ranked number 3 or something when he got pinned by Barnett at that duel. But yeah, he's only 5-3 on the year. Losses to Foley, McKee, and Barnett. Yeah, he has not been great. I don't know what the difference is between this year and last year. But that question is just like the question's a disaster.
Yeah, I don't know how we could do it without really looking at a bracket either, but it just kind of illustrates how wild and wide open the Big Ten is there at 125. It's the same way at 184 as well. Who like
Yeah.
who's gonna get to the finals to see what Aaron Brooks?
What'd you say?
Yeah, at 84, who's gonna be the guy that comes out on the bottom half to see Aaron Brooks in the finals?
Oh,
Like Aaron Brooks is making the
that's
finals.
almost as much of
He's
a
better.
disaster as this one. But
And
well, actually, at
100% is.
84 though. But 84, you don't have nearly the gap between number 2 and number 1 that you do at 84. I mean, Aaron Brooks is, I feel like, clearly better than, say, Owen Webster at number 6. Um,
Yeah,
but it's not Spencer to Cronin. I mean, Spencer to Cronin is a very, very vast gap.
right.
Um,
Yeah,
and Brooks to Webster or Pazanski or Weiler, while it's big, it's not Spencer to Cronin big.
totally agree there. It's not as
Okay.
wide for sure. Um,
I guess I didn't realize now,
let's
but
see.
now I look at it, I didn't realize. Now I guess I would feel shocked if any of those guys beat Brooks. I felt like when I was thinking about it before I looked at the list now, I would have thought maybe someone has more of a chance. And now that I look at it, I'm like, ooh, maybe not.
At least though, like Taylor Vins has beaten Brooks before, but like no one at 125 has touched Spencer. He's been in the same
Yeah.
stratosphere.
Brooks had a 3-2 with Sebastian and a 3-2 with Caffey, but neither one of those guys in his bracket. Um,
Hmm.
Yeah. Uh, Said 9-4 Braunagel. Yeah, I mean, obviously the Spencer the Spencer to the next person gap is but maybe besides Gable. Well, no, Gable has got Mason Paris, so there's no one that has nearly the gap that Spencer does. So I guess comparing him to Spencer is really difficult.
Yeah, and like some of the guys we were just talking about possibly making the finals opposite Spencer didn't make it more than 2 minutes with Spencer.
Yeah. True.
Okay, do you see any you really want to answer?
I think we could go. I mean, there's some fun ones that are really fast. Uh, Top 5 all-time Mizzou team, and I think the answer to that is, they definitely could be, but it's hard to know at this point because we just haven't seen them a lot. And there's a lot of question marks, I'll say, like, can Alan Hart stay number 4? He's looked great so
Hmm.
far. Uh, O'Toole and Mako are looking very promising, but we're not seeing them against the best guys yet. Where they match up, same thing with Rocky Elam, same thing with
Yep.
184 pounds, whoever they start there, Kent or Colton Hawks. So yeah, I think they could be really good, but it's kind of uh, too soon to tell. I don't know. Is that fair?
No, that's fair
Um,
because you don't want to say they are, and then they go to NCAA's, and then maybe the freshmen aren't where we thought they were yet, or Alan Hart
yeah,
isn't the same guy. But if they go to NCAA's and take second or third, and those freshmen are way up there, O'Toole's a top six guy, and Elam's a top eight guy, and Hart's a top four guy, and
yeah,
Mako sneaks on the podium. Like, yeah, like, that
yeah.
probably
They
is
got 6 All Americans
you.
or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So that I
And
mean that's
Mahler
within a
makes the
possibility.
finals.
Like yeah, I mean, if you just took each individual one and said, "Could this person All-American?" The answer is Hart, yes. Mahler, yes. Jacques, yes. O'Toole, yes. Mako, yes. Elam, yes. Elam, yes. And that's 6. And then 84, I think you could see possibilities where they sneak in there also. And even
Yeah,
even Schmidt and Brown at the bottom aren't super far off.
no, they're not at all. And 84 is kind of wild. We're not exactly sure what they're doing there, but it's funny. Both uh, Kent and Hawks have wins over Tate Samuelson, who just beat Dakota Gear.
He's
Um,
number 7.
so
Yeah.
we left Samuelson in the rankings, or Kent in the rankings, just because he's undefeated on the year, and he moved
Yeah.
up a good bit because of that win over because of Samuelson getting the win over Gear. But
Yeah.
he's like top 14 now, so
Yeah, and then
it's
even
crazy. They have.
Hawks versus Keckeisen was super competitive. I mean, that was a match I watched because of Parker.
Hmm.
Hawks also wrestled for my buddy Marcus a little bit, so I kinda actually, I think Hawks came up to a tournament. Marcus brought some guys up to a tournament ran when he was in 8th grade maybe, so I've been kinda seeing him around for quite a while. Um, yeah, I mean, so him and Keckeisen was really competitive, and that's a number 5 guy. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, like, I don't think I'm not saying they're guaranteed, but I'm saying, is there a possibility? And the answer is, yeah, there is. The other question, I who knows why it's in here? This has nothing to do with wrestling, but it's a funny factoid that, do you know what Bobby Bonilla's contract is?
I do. I figured you would be the one that didn't.
Yeah, he got and I don't know the exact number, but there's something where he gets X amount of money per month for like I think it's like 35 years or something to that effect.
It's one.
Right?
No, it's 1 year. He gets it. He gets it on July 1st. So
Every year.
for those that don't, yeah, every year. For those that don't know, Bobby Bonilla, he played for the Mets. They wanted to buy out his contract. So this says in 2000, the Mets agreed to buy out Bonilla's remaining $5.9 million contract. Instead of paying that cash up front, the team agreed to give Bonilla 1.19 million per year for 25 years. Um, the payments were deferred starting in 2011. His annual pay includes a guaranteed 8% interest rate. So right now it's not scheduled to end until 2035. But
So
it's
smart. Do you know how smart this is, Kyle? This is like the smartest thing any athlete has ever done. So many athletes go bankrupt. This man said, "Listen, I'm not taking my lump sum. I'm deferring it. I'm getting $1.2 million a year. That's my retirement. I'm gonna live the good life for the next 30 years." That's a freaking genius right there.
Yeah, and he's trending on Twitter again because the Padres just signed like their young superstar who's 22 to a 14 year, $300 million contract. And they're saying Fernando Tatis Jr. has 14 years left on his contract, and Bobby Bonilla still has 15 years left on his contract, and he's 57.
Ah, it's so smart. So smart.
Uh, the Mets are a joke. Um, there's a bin above that question in the doc. There's a link. Do you see that link?
Yeah.
Click on that link and tell me what you think.
I don't know
Um,
if I click on link. Oh, this was fun. No, I saw this. Okay, I was a little bit nervous. This is great. I think CP would love this. I think we should save this for next week because I think
okay.
this question's a lot of fun. Um, and this almost seems like something fun to gamble on, but I don't actually run a gambling site, so no, I love this question, and I think we would have fun going through it.
Yeah, so wrestling influencer, he put a question together, and it was just like kind of the percentage of a bunch of the men's freestyle stars of making the Olympic team. So wrestling influencer, we'll get to that one next week, and we'll have it up on the screen and show the
Yeah,
percentages and all that stuff. Yeah, because I
that
thought
was
that
this
was a
was
really good
good.
one too.
And I would also like, maybe you guys steal his post, um, and maybe you got within the office, you guys make your own or something like the flow version of this. Um, but I think he did a really good job. Like, I don't think he's all that far off. Um, there's a few like uh Stevenson Gwiz. I might go up a little bit with Stevenson, a little down with Gwiz because Gwiz did lose to Paris. Um,
Hmm.
but overall, I'd probably go down a little bit with DT. He's got DT super high. I'd probably go down just a little bit with him. But overall, I think he did a great job.
Cool.
Yeah.
We'll definitely get to that next week. Um, you see any others you want to hit, Ben?
No, that's it, for me. I got some more boxing to work today. My man Canine's been in town. He's been tremendous. He's making me work too hard, kinda. Man, I didn't know if I wanna work. This is just a hobby, Kyle. I'm not trying to retire. This man's trying to make me work like it's my job or something.
Listen, you're getting paid a large amount of money to shut this kid up, so you got to work hard.
Okay, I will shut him up. I promise you that.
I saw the video. I think your Twitter account posted of Canine barking yesterday when you were in the ring.
Oh my
He looks
god, he's
pretty vicious.
hilarious. Yes, he's funny. Oh, man. So, yeah, back to work for me today.
All right, keep killing it. We'll keep trying to
Peace.
kill it down here in Texas, even though
Get
we
some
have no
water. Get
water
some water at your
and
house.
and like no power. Um, Hopefully everyone is back Tuesday and we are fully powered. Thank you guys for listening this week. Have a safe, fun weekend. We'll see you Tuesday.